All right. Here we are, man. Another episode, another week. The Discussion Board Podcast. Y'all already know what it is. I ain't gonna waste no time. We're gonna get right into it. I'm gonna let the people know this is what we're getting after today. All right. So this is gonna be the ideology that playing professional sports is one of the only ways for minority youth to make it out. You know what I'm saying? And really, when we say minority youth, we're really focusing on the young minority males and the fact that when they grow up in low income communities, neighborhoods, that making it to the league, whether it be NBA or NFL, usually what it is, that is really one of the only ways that they can make it out to be able to provide for their family. And this is something that's been going on for generations now, because in my opinion, to them, it's the quickest way to make meals. It's the quickest way to touch a lot of paper. You don't really have to go to school for as long as a lot of other professions do. And, you know, it'll help get your family out of tough situations. So I think that's a really a huge part as to why a lot of them go that route. You see what I'm saying? So I got a couple of things that I want to get into, but I'm going to let either one of y'all start off. If you want to go, Reeve, Zay.
Yo, Reeve. Yo, let me speak real quick.
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead. Yeah.
The ideology that professional sports is the only way to make it out. I feel like that really stems from where you live at. I feel like, so let's say like a little black kid growing up in a really, really tough neighborhood is, he grows up in a good household, his mom and dad, a stable household, but the area around him isn't so stable. He just wants to go to school, and when he goes to school, he don't want to get caught up in all the gang violence or the drugs and stuff like that. He wants to do something that's going to take him out the hood. You know what I'm saying? As Saya was saying, sports is I wouldn't say the easiest way because it isn't easy to make it to professional, but it is, how do I put it?
It's one of the quickest.
It's one of the quickest. It's like, that's what their focus is, especially if they come from a household that's stable. You know what I'm saying? So it really stems from the community that they come from. Like, you don't want to get caught up in all that extraness because you know what path that could lead you down. You know what I'm saying? So sports, I feel like for minorities, it's not the only way, but where they grow up at, they feel like it's the only way because they don't see nothing else. You know what I'm saying? They don't really go outside of their community. They go to school, they come back home, and they're around all of the negatives. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like for minorities, it's not the only way, but for them, it may feel like it is the only way until they, reach that age where they see other things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Definitely.
I feel like this whole thing stems from one certain thing and then splits into two, separate parts. And the main thing that it stems from, I think, is just the ideology and perception that society has of the black man, right? Minority men in general. I think that a lot of times people look at a random person they see down walking on the street and look at it as he's black. He looks so tall, kind of. He plays football. You know what I mean? I remember growing up, even though I was a football player, a lot of times I would get stopped in the street and not because I was carrying my basketball stuff or anything, but just because I looked like an athletic African American. So I think that perception is put in all of our minds. That every day when we hear it, see it, wake up to it, talk about it, that it just becomes a part of our culture. As a black man, you just thought that you're supposed to play a sport, So I think that automatically starts to play in field on the income. Then going to second to that is what you guys were talking about with us being in a minority situation where we want to make it out as quick as possible. We want the easiest and fastest way to the bread to support everyone that we need, right? And I think that also plays into the fact that we are taught from an early age in certain situations the academic route is not for us. I think that a lot of black youth coming to high school and they see the path that it takes, everything that it has to do, every detail they have to do in order to get to that level of money in the academic or regular world, I think that they look at it and just like, I'm not trying to go that long, that far before making bread. My mom and dad is struggling to pay their rent right now. You know what I'm saying? Or like, my sister need food on the table, bro. Like, nigga, he probably be the only person that's supporting that family. You know what I'm saying? So it's like he gotta find the bread now. And I think that plays a huge part. So it just stems, systematically just stems from the fact that African Americans look like athletic beings, you know, to be able to play a sport. And then from there it trickles down to either whether you really need it or you just feel as a black man you're supposed to do it. I feel like we all go through that.
And to that point, because that is so true, you even see it in today, like those top high school athletes, they try to make it so far in high school that they try to overlook even going to college in the first place. Like, I forgot his name, but he recently just declared for the G League, so he can make a little paper so he could give to his people back in Africa. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't even want to go to school. They want to, you feel me, play ball. They want to do what it takes in order to get the big bucks. So that's really what we going through right now.
Look at it, right? It's not even like African Americans are the only ones. Even if we are on a, you know, much more lesser scale when it comes to income and stuff like that, you know, I feel like even the majority folks, you know, white Americans that live in this country, they might not go after sports as the fastest route, but they're also looking for the fastest route as well. That's why you see startup businesses spread across the country. That's 18, 19, 20-year-olds. You know what I'm saying? Like, they try to get to the bag too, but it's just, they think about getting to the bag. They thinking about all those business-like or work hard-like mentalities in order to get there, because that's what they see in the environment. You know what I'm saying? In their public eye, they see a white person, you know, being a mayor or a governor. We black people, we see our people being football players and basketball players. You know what I'm saying? So it's like we looking for our fast to the bag, and it's like, oh, that might be it. You know what I'm saying? Or rip. Well, I remember when I was a little kid and I was like 6, 7 years old when I watched my first football game. I remember it, and it was the Giants. I seen it, and I just see people looking like me, running around, doing crazy stuff. I was like, I need to play. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing that. I want to do that.
Right. And, you know, like y'all are saying, you know, one is really where you coming from and what you see around you. I know a couple of you know, just names to mention, like Josh Jacobs, running back for the Oakland Raiders, now about to be a Vegas Raiders. He was homeless in middle school. You see what I'm saying? And he was one of 5 kids, and him and his pops and his siblings, they were living in a car for his time in middle school. So something like that to drive me to be like, you know what, I'm talented and I can make it to the league and come and get back to them, because right now being a doctor, lawyer, that's not quick enough for me to come here and take care of my family. That's one example. Kyle Kuzma, basketball player for the Lakers. You know him. He grew up out of Flint, Michigan, and we know how dirty their water is. They can't even get clean water over there. So, you know, growing up, you seeing that, the fact that you can't really have access to clean water like that. It's like, you know what? If I'm good in basketball, I'm in my local YMCA, I'm going to make it so that I can come back and at least try to change what's going on in here so my people can have some clean water. Inky Johnson, he the motivational speaker now. He grew up, and I think it was either a 1 or 2 bedroom apartment with 10 plus people. You see what I'm saying? Like, you sleeping in the same bed with like 5 or 6 of your cousins. You're like, nah, this isn't it. This isn't it. I'm not trying to live like this, and I don't want to have my family live like this any longer. So it's like, you know what? I need something now. Being a lawyer, being a doctor, that takes too long, especially since I'm good in football, more than basketball, but basketball too. But football is a sport that rewards hard work. So you don't necessarily gotta always be the most talented. You gotta be able to put that time in, and you'll be able to get to places that you're trying to go. So you know, just as a young minority male, you've seen this, and you know that you have a chance to change that quickly. Is going to push you into the areas in order to do so. And then you also have people around you that's also feeding that into your head too. They all saying like, yo, you're going to make it. You're going to go to the league. You're gonna be the next this. You're gonna be the next LeBron, the next Kobe. You're gonna be the next this, next that. You see what I'm saying?
Be a friend.
And they'll tell you to stay in school, but only just so that you can go. So that you can stay focused. 2, that you can be on the team.
Perfect.
And 3, to get you to the next level. But they're not telling you to stay in school, so you can be something else outside of playing professional sports.
And to tie into that, and I'm gonna use this story to tie into the next segment I was thinking about. But to tie into that was just a lot of people that I know. We both Josiah played on the team with most people like this. I think there's people like this across the country where they generally hate going back home when they're playing collegiate sports. They go to their collegiate campuses wherever they go, and they generally just enjoy life where they're at in college. Then they're back home because they know back home is just not a suitable environment. You know what I mean? And you have to think about that going to college. The only way that a lot of our people have in order to get there is by sports.
Yeah.
Look at the amount of money that it is to pay to go to these schools. Either you pay that or you find some type of academic scholarship, which at the end of the day, generally of us, either get very little or no, So it's like the only other way people see as an option to go to that next level, to get somewhere, to get away from your environment, to get to college, is to play a sport, So that's another reason why a lot of our people go to play sports instead of, trying to focus on other aspects of life. And I think that the fact that we're just passionate people and we're passionate about what we do, it tends to come off as like a I don't even know how to explain it, but
I know a couple people. Like personally, in the beginning they didn't really love sports. You know what I'm saying? But as I was saying earlier, the environment around them, they didn't want to get caught up in that. So the sport was keeping them out of the environment around them. You know what I'm saying? So they just played the sport just to play the sport, but they didn't really have a love for the sport. As they continue to play, they developed that love for the game. You know what I'm saying? And it drove them to further, all right, I may not love the game right now because of how young I am or my immature mind, but if I continue to do this, I know that I can make a better way for me and my family.
Yeah.
So, it drives them, and then they develop that love for the game, and then they go further with it. You know what I'm saying? And I know a lot of people like that. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, a lot of the people that Queens, I mean, there are their bad parts, but most of the people that I know are from Brooklyn, which is the more rougher, the tougher areas, like Browns. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they don't really love it. They don't really love. I mean, at the time they didn't really love the game, but now they're everything sports. Like, yeah, I play football. Like, that's all I do. Or yeah, bro, I play baseball. Like, I go to school here and there. I try to get the bare minimum, like the 80s, the 82s, the 83s. You know what I'm saying? Just try to get past that so I can be in the court, so I can play. You know what I'm saying?
I knew dudes in high school that literally used to walk into class and be like, "Yo, I'm literally only here. If I don't pass this class, I'm going to play." Yo, as soon as the season was over, half the athletes were not in school. They was not about school.
Facts. They don't care after that.
Basketball. That's the only reason why dudes going to school. Yeah, I'm only doing this for football. Now I'm only doing, and dudes sitting in high school. Imagine college. Dudes sitting in high school. You're not even getting paid to do it.
Right.
You're doing it because you love it.
Right.
It's
crazy because we all live in proof that sports doesn't last. You see what I'm saying? Like, yeah, you're gonna have your fun, and you're gonna be able to play it for a certain amount of time, but at some point you're gonna have to come to reality and realize that you're not gonna be able to play this game forever. Even if you do make it to the league, you're still not gonna be able to play the game forever. And the percentage of athletes that even make it to the league is less than 2%. You see what I'm saying? So, for us to be rooted in those type of environments and for us to see that, it kind of like it's a blessing and a curse at the same time, because it gives us hope that we can make it there, but then at the same time we're not always going to see the reality that comes behind getting there and what it takes to get there. You see what I'm saying? I like how Reef brought up Brooklyn. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of good athletes that we see come out of Brooklyn. When we talk about New York City.
It wasn't me. It was Zay.
I said Zay.
I thought you said Reef.
Zay. I was watching a documentary on Stephon Marbury. I know y'all know him, and it's called The Kid from Coney Island. And you know, it was documenting his life. You know what happened, how he made it out. He was one of, I think he was one of 5 kids. Also, three of his brothers played ball. This is I think. You know, they talk about everything, how he went to the league, how he went to China, and all of that. And then at the end of the documentary is what really hit me the most. You know what I'm saying? That's what really resonated with me. Starbury was in a barbershop, right? And he was talking to a little kid, and he looked at the little kid, and he was like, you know, like, what do you want to be when you grow up? And obviously, the kid said, the first thing he said was, I want to be a professional basketball player. I want to go play ball. And you know, Starbury looked at him and said a word. He was like, you know, you don't have to be a basketball player. You know, did anybody ever tell you that? Like, you don't have to be a basketball player. You could be the president of the United States. And then, you know, he's telling him this. Like, if anybody tell you that you could be the president of the United States, and the kid was like, no, like nobody ever told me that. And he said, if you're the president of the United States, then I got it right here. He said, if you're the president of the United States, you can help out all the people in Coney Island. Like, nobody ever told you that? And the kid was like, nah. And like Starbury kind of started breaking down in tears, because it was like a lot of kids are really gonna try and go down this path, but at the same time, there's other ways for you to get, you know, to that goal that we're trying to get to, which is ultimately coming back to help out our neighborhoods that we're from, or help our family that we're from. Like sports, it shouldn't be the only way or the only path we think that it takes to get there. You see what I'm saying? And that was just something that really resonated with me a lot, because he's one out of hundreds of thousands of kids that are thinking the same way. And there aren't people that's going to tell them, like, you don't have to be a basketball player, because they want them to go ahead and make. That's the easiest, like we've been saying, that's the quickest way to make those meals. And I was just looking at that, I was like, wow, that's impactful.
But it's sad though, cause like, yeah, you make it, but a lot of the people that made it from out of the hood, when they get there, they don't know what to do with it. You know what I'm saying? That's why a lot of them broke. Like Allen Iverson, like for example, I don't know if he went completely broke, but I remember at one point in time he just like he couldn't get himself together. You know what I'm saying? But that's also from the environment that he grew up around. Like, even though you playing ball and stuff like that, the environment around you is not changing. You know what I'm saying? So you still seeing the drug deals, fancy cars, jewelry. So when you make it and you start touching that money, it's like, okay, yeah, I want to help out my family, but I also want to put change around that stuff that the drug dealers and stuff was doing, not realizing that you don't have to do that, bro. You made it there for a reason. You made it to help your family. You know what I'm saying? So it's just sad because, yeah, you made it from out the hood, and I'm glad that you did, but what, you know what I'm saying? Like, did you help out your community? Did you do for anybody else? You know what I'm saying? So it's really
Yeah, bro. And I feel like, but at the same time too, I feel like not basketball, this is sports, and we have to also give it, you know, respect and appreciation for what it's been in the Black community. Because although, yes, you know, it sometimes does become a negative obsession for a lot of our youth, I feel like the fact that, like I said earlier, that we have something that we look up to, that we want to do, inspired to be, you know, that we discipline for throughout our life, I can honestly see it's just the fact that football has brought a lot of discipline to, like, it would have been had I not played it. You know what I mean? Taking care of my physical health. You know what I'm saying? The drive to be able to want to do something. Like, I feel like for our people, what we need to do is, after a certain level where we realize that it's not, you know, going to be achievable for us, that we just decide to take that drive and passion and put it into another passion that we have. You know what I'm saying? We're not just slaves to the game. You know, we have other aspects of our life that we enjoy, that we're passionate about.
right.
Football ain't work out, you in your junior year of college, you realizing it, look at the major that you're doing. Or not even. It could be as simple as just what makes you happy, you know? If you're into business, talking about sneaker reselling, you know, businesses, you know, like Jared his. You know, it's all about what you want to be passionate about. It's the same work ethic you had in sports, take it and put it into something else now. And watch it go. Because at the end of the day, sports only goes to how athletic you are in your body. Your physical presence only takes you so far. Your mental capacity takes you wherever, bro. You know what I mean? It's like if you use that same work ethic you did in sports and put it into your mind, bro, you don't even know where you would go with that. You know what I'm saying? So I feel like I shift that aspect when we get to levels like our or even high school. Even kids in high school could realize at some point, yeah, it's not for me.
But one thing I wanted to ask is sports the only thing that minorities look up to in order to make it out?
No.
Because I know. I mean, so like I'm gonna share my experience because like I play sports. You know what I'm saying?
Music is another one, a huge.
I was just about to say that, like rapping and singing and stuff like that. Like I know a lot of kids that look up to that too. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like I feel like once sports don't work out after a certain time, they start realizing, okay, sports may not be it. They go to the other thing that the hood, exemplifies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Rapping.
My thing with that though is I personally don't support that as much as I do the us doing sports, because I do feel like sports, especially for your youthful age, gives you a lot of structure, a lot of schedule, and then discipline type of where music is much of a more independent business type of aspect.
Yes.
Let's be real. Like even us right now trying to start our own independent businesses, it's not the structured thing. It's all about you, how hard you work, how much you put in, the luck that you get. You know what I'm saying? So that's not gonna be something we can lose, put your feet on. But when it comes to athletes and athletics, you have a structure that even after you leave, you can still function very well in the society we live in. You know what I mean? Just because of the discipline aspects it gives you in your mental health, in your mental capacity.
And then even to the rapping point, it's like, there's so many people out there that's doing it. You have to find a way to make yourself unique without sounding redundant to a lot of other rappers that are out there. You see what I'm saying? Like, there's only but so many people that can sit there and rap about the hood, rap about getting mills, rap about getting shot up, stuff like that. Like, if almost everybody out there is doing it, what do you want to rap about? Like, what is going to set you apart from everybody else? Because if you're going to try and do that, I'm going to just listen to whatever mainstream artist is doing it, because he's been doing it for a while and he's more experienced at it. So if there's really nothing that really sets you apart, then you're just gonna fall by the wayside, just like everybody else that's doing it. And now I like how we brought up, sports and the fact that it gives you structure. Like football, to me, I would definitely want to put my kids in the football. Not to say that they gotta go to the league or play collegiate football, but little league and high school, because it does teach you how to discipline. It teaches you how to work with other people, because football, you can't win the game by yourself. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's something where everybody has to collectively come together for one purpose, one common goal. You see what I'm saying? So to me, football teaches you a lot about life more than any other sport, in my opinion. But just like sports in general, like it's a time period. Like you can only do it but for so long. Like how Reef said, like how physically present you can be. And trying to get far in sports, there's a lot of ways where it could end badly. Like one could be injuries, and then two, which a lot of people fall short to, is the politics in sports. Like I say this all the time, there be more politics in sports than on Capitol Hill, because that's a multi-million-dollar business. And no funny, man, that's a multi-million-dollar business, and there's a lot of people that will put your personal feelings or whatever it is aside to make that quick buck. Like if you ain't, it's what have you done for me lately? If you ain't really doing nothing for me, I'm gonna push you aside, go find somebody else to do the same thing. If you don't know how to play the game, go get far.
For real, especially at the collegiate level. I feel like at the collegiate level, they drop you off like that.
Yo, because
pick up somebody else.
At that point, it's all about money. You see what I'm saying? Because those are somebody's jobs. Like this is how I'm feeding my family. This is how I'm putting a roof over their head. Like, and right now, if you ain't cutting it for me, I don't got time to worry about your feelings. I'm trying to make sure we win so I can get that paycheck so I can keep coming back. You see what I'm saying? So it's like it's a cutthroat business when you get down to it.
And I'm not gonna lie to you, bro. Like I feel like all athletes in general experience that some way or another, whether positively or negatively. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you get to collegiate levels and further. And I've come to respect it, bro. Because to be quite honest, I can't blame my coach for making moves to keep his check on the table. You know what I'm saying? I can't really blame him for that, bro. So, no matter how unfair I know it to be, no matter how much I'm arguing with it in my head, I know that he answers to somebody too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Somebody too. It's always some. You know. So it's like it is what it is, bro. It's a business. It's the same thing in the real world too. You know what I'm saying?
It's a business.
It's the same thing in business. If you want a job and you feel like you earned a raise and someone else did, and you're like, dang, da 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 da. The boss is only doing that either one or two reasons, because he feels threatened by you, or he just gotta do his job. Like, you feel me? If he don't do that move, he gotta answer to somebody. You know?
That's but that's why the kids in high school, they go so hard. Like the 5-star athletes, they go so hard so that they can get that opportunity to go straight to the league. So they don't even got to deal with none of that. You know what I'm saying? They don't got to deal with none of the injuries that could possibly happen if they got to go to the collegiate level. You know what I'm saying? So they be working hard so that they could get that opportunity. Like Jalen LeCue. I don't know if y'all know him, but he's a basketball player. You know what I'm saying? He worked hard in high school, got the opportunity to go straight to the A and took it without hesitation. He took it.
I feel like basketball I appreciate a lot more when it comes to that aspect, because I think that the independence of an athlete in basketball has a positive impact in general, you know, on our community, I believe. Because like people like LeBron, Carmelo, D Wade, all these people that you've seen like making decisions on their own. And even as young as Melo saying, I'm not gonna go play college ball. I'll just go to Europe for a couple of years and come back and say I'm gonna go for the draft. Just because he wanted to. You know, you can't do that in football.
You wanna know why that is?
What happened?
You wanna know why that is?
Why?
Because basketball is specifically more based on talent, right? And I say that only because it's harder to replace a LeBron James than it is to replace like a Christian McCaffrey. You know, just use that as an example.
I was thinking them too. That's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? Like when basketball, you can't just go out and just find somebody to work hard and get them to a level to where LeBron James or Russell Westbrook is. That's God-given talent. You see what I'm saying? And then a generational talent like Zion Williamson or John Morant, like you're not always going to find that everywhere. But football, you can go find somebody who's coachable and
work hard,
right? And who's willing to just put, you know, their mind to it, go grind, and they can be successful just straight off work. So it's hard because football, you got to fall in line because it's a next man up mentality. Like if you ain't getting the job done, you getting tossed to the side, next man up. Basketball, it's like, you know what? I'm not necessarily sure if I'm going to be able to play without Bron, or I'm not necessarily sure we're going to be able to win a championship without Bron. Like it's just different.
Yo, I even personally saw it in pace. I saw how, you know, relaxed and convenient it was. Being a player was for us. You know what I'm saying? Things that they would just get a slap on the wrist for, you know, ain't gonna boil over to if you're a football player. You know what I'm saying? So it's like
also in basketball,
it's just you just knowing, all right, if I lose this player in the basketball team, like you said, there's not that many people who's gonna be able to replace him. The best player in the team, you can fit a person that can like carry the load. You see that multiple times in football. Someone's not as talented, someone that can know the scheme, fit the role for manager, run the yards or tackles or whatever position he plays, and keep it going. You can't just put someone in that's not better than LeBron and expect him to do a triple-double night.
A lot of the things I feel like with basketball like can't be taught. Like you know how we used to play ball, and like I don't know about everybody else, but like when I was in high school, I used to be one of the shorter guys. And then there used to be guys that was like 6'7", 6'8". Like you can't teach height. You know what I'm saying? So those players is obviously gonna go far. You know what I'm saying? So you feel me? Like a player like LeBron James, 6'8", 250, 260. Like you can't teach that. You know what I'm saying? So you can't just move. And he's athletic. So you can't just find somebody off your bench to just be another LeBron James. You know what I'm saying? This is like or anything like that. But you could like get a bigger guy. You know what I'm saying? Teach him a little something and put him in a position of, you know, somebody on the offensive line hold his
I don't know. I feel like that's a little bit too much. Just because I still think that when it comes to pure athletic talent in that aspect, yeah, football is just even account to that. But I mean in talent as in like shooting the basketball into the hoop. You know what I'm saying? Dribbling the ball, the efficiencies that they do. You know, those type of movements with a basketball. I feel like a basketball is a difficult object. You know what I'm saying? To be doing the things that you. Just the aspect of the game in itself is difficult. But when it comes to athletic talent, nah, football, you have to have that.
Yeah.
You got to be it.
Oh,
you
yeah.
know.
I mean,
Athletic alignment, videos alignment,
offensive linemen.
offensive linemen running 4.9s, 4.8s at their size, bro.
Yeah, that's,
you know what I'm saying?
that's pretty tough.
You don't just put that somewhere. You don't just.
Tough. Yeah. Yeah, that's
you don't,
pretty tough.
you know? So, but when it comes to actually like actual game, like I don't, you could put someone and teach them how to block over and over again until they get really good at it.
Yeah.
It's very hard to teach them how to shoot multiple times until they become a Ray Allen. You know, you don't play the Ray Allen. You are Ray Allen. You know, so that's what I feel is the aspect. AI, the way he used to put his body in angles to get a bucket. You know what I'm saying? You can't just teach someone that type of thing. That's
LeBron?
AI.
Nah, AI.
Oh, AI.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean LeBron too. I don't know what you're trying to say about that. But.
Yo, but
Sleep on that.
But at the end of the day, to bring it back to the point, still playing sports is only going to get you but so far in life. Even if you add Tom Brady age, what he is right now, football is going to come to an end. Sports are going to come to an end at some point in time. So there needs to be something. Yeah, right. There needs to be something that you could be able to, like Reef said, shift that passion and that drive into, so that way you can generate generational wealth. You see what I'm saying? Or that way you can go back to those communities that you came from and help them out, change it up. You see what I'm saying? Like at the end of the day, no matter how many times you try to play it or bend the rules or whatever the case is, you still got to find a way to put something else, put your efforts, your passion, your talent to something else other than sports, because that is not the only ways out.
Let me ask you something. Do you think that the players that don't really have much to fall back on after they leave the game, is that the reason why they come back? Because they don't really have much to fall back on? Like the players that retire and then realize, like, damn, like I'm running out of money, and then they come back to the game? Or do you think that they just come back to the game because they love the game?
Take that option and make it seem like that's the only way they can go back. They go back at the end of the day because that's the most comfortable they are to making a lot of. Think about it. You were making a lot of money, and it was easy for you as an athlete in the pros. So you go back a couple of years, and you're not making money other ways as much as you was before. Like, it was fun, and I was like, great doing it. I'm going back. You know, that's why I feel like dudes do it. You know, because you think if when LeBron retire, he's gonna come back in a couple of years and say I'm back?
Nah.
He has so many other passions and things that he started doing. When he's done, he's gone, bro. He his money's other places. You know what I'm saying?
Kobe too. Like look at Kobe when he was.
That's only few and far between. Like,
I feel like they just are comfortable with making money that way, so they just go back to it. I don't.
Put LeBron in that category.
You don't have to realize the network you build as an athlete, bro.
That's exactly what I was just about to say. LeBron damn near a billionaire.
And especially if you were a good person, like a really good player, there's no way you leave in the league and not finding people to hook you up.
You could do whatever at this point.
Imagine AI walking through Philly asking for a job.
Yeah, he's hired. Yeah.
Just to have AI in your market or your company. Come on, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just his name alone is gonna boost your market.
Going back because they don't feel like working a 9 to 5, or they don't feel like spending time in the office, or it'd be boring to them. They'd be like, "Damn, I miss basketball."
Especially if they've been doing it for 10+ years. You see what I'm saying? Like it just became a routine to them. Like it's part of their life. That's all they know. But that's why we have a conversation, because we want to let individual know that this shouldn't be something that is all you know. Like this shouldn't be the only thing that you put all your efforts into, because it's not gonna last forever. At some point, you're gonna have to. What people say, I'm gonna hang them up. like, you know what I'm saying, you gotta hang them up at some point in time, and you gotta be able to have something to divert your.
Shit,
Yeah, you gotta hang up my cleats.
my shit,
You said what?
that's a fact. I said my ship sailed.
I'm not gonna lie to you though. I'm not gonna lie to you. Let's really all be honest too. It's not like we decided that we had other passions to go and we wanted to do that more. If we had the opportunity to still be playing our sport, we would definitely.
I'm going for it.
No, no cap. You'll be playing football right now if you could.
Yeah. Easy.
Bro, when you develop that,
Bro, you're never gonna experience that crowd, like the rush that you be feeling when you play that sport. You're never gonna.
it's that love for the game,
It's like
bro.
every other person that plays the sport. I feel like that's another thing that plays into it. You know, it's not like you hop into the sport and you have that option, whether you're black or white, to where you love it that much or not. I think sports is just that type of thing. When you start playing it, bro, you just love that shit so much. Bro, it's not like the white boys be leaving it a little bit more easier than we do. They be tight too, bro.
Of course.
It might not be because of red wise and stuff like that, because they can't.
Of course.
So everyone that gets the next, me and Josiah got the opportunity to play college ball, and we saw Hawkins not playing, and I know he was thinking like this. He was like, "Dang, bro, I can't imagine not playing football."
I was stressed.
The high school first player that you with, bro, I don't know how you can not be playing football right now, bro. Thinking back, bro, I was crazy.
Stressing, bro.
Nah, bro.
I was really stressing not playing basketball. Like, really stressed.
It's just not that dudes just accepted the fact that, that's just not, ain't nothing I can really do about that. I got responsibility.
You know what's so crazy about that? Like, I was so stressed out to the point where I was asking, like, the players, like, yo, what time in the morning do y'all wake up, go lift, and, like, go play, like, go run, just so I could just be a part, bro. I wasn't even on the team. I just wanted to feel a part, like, you know what I'm saying? Because I was the game so much. So it's not that easy to just let go. Like, it's not like I was finished with high school ball and I was just like, all right, I'm good now. Like, you know what I'm saying? I wanted to play collegiate basketball. You know what I'm saying? And because I didn't get that opportunity to, I had to taste what it was like. Waking up 6 a.m, doing workouts and stuff like that. And I got to taste that, bro. It's not that easy to drop. Like, like, old habits die hard.
It's a habit. Exactly. Sports is always gonna become a habit, no matter who you are. If you end up enough as a habit, bro. Little boy, it don't matter, bro.
It don't matter.
Because it just takes so much of your time. At some point, you're used to it being a major part of your life. Bro, since high school, I'll be putting on my transcript, and I'll be looking. I thought that I was playing for football in college. But I went on I was making my my resume, and I looked at my high school hours for the sport, and I looked at my college hours. Bro, I was literally doing the same thing both years. Football took up half your day. No matter what point of the year, that was taking half your day, bro.
Yeah, it took up
half your day, bro. So like, imagine just stop out of nowhere. Just that day that you always remember having isn't there anymore.
It's so crazy. Yeah. It's so crazy because, like, even when I wasn't on the court, I still found a way to make something out of basketball. Like, when they asked me to write papers in school, I always wrote about basketball. Yeah. Whenever I was in class and I had a garbage, I always balled it up, trying to shoot it in the garbage. Like, everything that I did on the basketball court, I tried to do off the court. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was just part of me. You know what I'm saying? It was like my limbs. Like, you know what I'm saying? It was just me. You know what I'm saying? So it does take up all your day, though. Like, I ain't gonna lie, I do. But it's like you love it, so you continue doing it, whatever. Like, and that's why we feel like, and that's why when we, like, let's get back to the point, and that's why we feel like that's our only way out. Because that's all that we do. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, it's like a circle. It really just came like a circle. Like, because we do it so much, we feel like that's our only way out.
No funny.
That's what it is.
That's really what it be. At the end of the day, that's really what it be. You see what I'm saying? But I still like what Starbury said to that kid. He was like, oh, you know, you can be the president of the United States. You don't necessarily gotta be a professional basketball player. And
How?
you know what I mean? If a lot of us, when we start to make it into the areas that we make it into, and we come back and we try to educate the youth, I'm quite sure that'll be one of the things that we'll tell them too. Like, you know what, go ahead, have your fun, play sports, because you're gonna love it. Like playing sports, like we've already said, like I touched upon, this is definitely be a different type of love that you're gonna have. And when you're done, it's gonna leave a void, you know. But just know that this isn't the only thing that you have to do. Don't think that this is the only thing you have to do to make change. Right? You can make change in a lot of other ways. But it's just something that's going to take time, you know, for a lot of the youth to really realize. And some may not even, you know, really want to hear it because of the environments that they come out of, like we listed. But you know, just to tell them that, you know, even if you want to go down another path, there's always going to be another path for you. But you know, if anybody else has anything to touch on before we close?
Nah, I'm straight. I'm straight, yeah.
All right, y'all.
I will say that if we want you know, our people to start looking at other aspects, it just got to be as simple as putting our people in other aspects. You know, if you wake up in the morning watching TV and you see black people doing other things, you're gonna grow up thinking stuff too. As that we grew up, which is to society, equality and all that. Most of the positions that we saw, CEOs, principals, teachers, all that, or what people that were white, you know. So it's like you didn't see anybody do that, but you saw black people playing football and basketball. So it was like that's what you grow up thinking you should do. The only people I remember that weren't playing sports, that's all the black people was. But when it came to the public eye, barely ever.
I ain't see. Like, I always thought that black people was always nice at some sport. Like, I could just, like, if you look like you had a little structure, like a little build, I was like, you either play football or basketball. It was just a stereotype. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I see you and you looking a little built, you probably play football. I get that stereotype even now. Like, when I was at UPS, my manager asked me if I played football. I looked at him like, I haven't played football since I was like 10.
Everyone be asking me if I play ball.
I'm short. I'm short, so
bro, I don't even gotta
barely get that ball question. Football, I always get asked that question. I'm like, no, I don't play football.
That's because you're stocky,
wide neck. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So always asking me if I play football. That's all right, though. It's all right. It's all right.
I get asked both.
You athletic.
Get asked both. Yeah, but
You athletic.
but yeah, man, this could be a conversation that'll go on forever, and I'm quite sure that it will go on forever. But we're gonna wrap it up here. You know, for everybody watching, this is our YouTube channel. You can find us at DB on TV. We're on Instagram at D_DB_podcast. And we're on Apple Podcasts at the Discussion Board Podcast, man. So make sure y'all follow us, like, do whatever you gotta do, but make sure y'all hear the message that we're trying to get out there, because we always gonna keep it 100, and we always gonna try and drop gems on you as much as we can. So make sure y'all tune in.
Yes, sir.